Okay, so today is Thursday, July 17th? Yeah, July 17th, 2025. Good morning. I have a decent little list of things I want to talk about today, but I have to talk about the dream I had last night / this morning because it's something that really kind of hit me. And I'm surprised because that doesn't normally happen with my dreams. You know, sometimes I'll have a dream and wake up and go like, man, that was really cool. I hope I remember it. And then I don't. And then sometimes I'll have a dream, wake up and go, oh man, that's really cool. And write it down, go back to sleep, wake up and realize, oh, I never actually woke up. I was still dreaming when I woke up and wrote down what happened. I don't remember anything now. So all of that impact is gone. But this one, not all of the details, as you'll see in a bit. Like, the first part is very wonky to me, and some of the other details are a bit lost. But the way it started was I was dreaming about... It was like a Harry Potter, Little Witch Academia kind of situation, where it's like, all right, there's a magic academy. Your main character is, like, this girl who's training to be a witch. And I think one of the school rules is, you have to sign up for a club. And she signed up, like, to be in the student council or into, like, the planning committee. It was something like that, in addition to a lot of other clubs. But none of the other clubs would take her, and she was the only person to sign up for this one. So it's like, congratulations, you're, like, now class president. Like, something like that, in addition to... Which honestly sounds like a really fun idea for a series. Like, all right, you have like a freshman who doesn't really know what they're doing. Now they're in charge of everything. Also, it's a magic school, so you have to deal with magic shenanigans. This sounds great already. And there was an event going on. It was not quite like the Tri-Wizard tournament, but it was something big like that. Where, all right, now, like, a bunch of other schools are coming around, and so now you got to meet all the other students and fraternize with them. You have to, as the representative of the school, you have to cater to their needs, make sure everyone is okay, do a lot of the logistical stuff. But, like, this race of magical creatures hates this race of magical creatures, so you got to make sure nothing's going on over there. And this one part that really stuck out to me was there was, like, a heist sequence. And I remember... actually, like, watching, this feels weird to say about a dream, but watching the animation of, like, what was happening and just how fluid it was, I was like, looks so good. Like, this is so pretty. Like, my head is a great animator. My hands aren't, but my head is a great animator. And there was a scene where, like, the person who was doing the heist had, like, a mission control person. And you see it just from the mission control's, like, perspective of, like, how fast they're able to move and just how cool it was. But from the actual person's perspective, when you kind of see what they're doing slowed down, and you see like, even though this is a very high pressure situation, it's very high stakes, they're just very cavalier about what they're doing, like, almost wanting to be caught and, like, daring the other people to catch them, but knowing I'm so fast and I'm so good at what I do, they literally can't. Like kind of like a Quicksilver in Days of Future Past kind of thing. I was like, this is really cool. I'm having such a good time. But then she does end up getting caught because her mission control was leading her into a trap, which led to, like, a whole big fight scene, which then led to more problems for our actual protagonist who's trying to keep the peace. And I was like, this is really cool. This is fun. And I woke up and I thought to myself, I really want to talk to my friend about this. Like, I'm going to call up Clay because this was just some weird goofiness and he's going to have a good time with it. So I call him and we're talking about it. And for some reason, I was, like, down, like, the hilltop. And as I was calling, the phone, like, the call just dropped. I didn't know what happened. I was like, okay, that's weird. And I looked down at my hands, and I was turning to stone, or maybe it was salt. Like, I'm not exactly sure. But I was slowly turning into a pillar of salt / stone. because I was still dreaming. And as this is happening, and I realize that I'm now on a timer, I have minutes, if not seconds left. And I don't know if when this process is complete, if I'm dead, or if I'll still be like sentient and conscious but unable to move, which has got to be in my top 5 like worst fears. And what I did in those final moments, because I remember specifically, I wasn't scared. Aside from the fact that it's like, man, I don't want to be conscious forever like this. But I was like, all right, I'm about to die. There's something I need to do. So I took my phone, switched the camera so like this so I could see myself, and it was like, yeah, like part of my face was already encased in the like stone / salt. Like, I'm not sure which it was, because it was a very like bright white color of rock. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe it was that. It's like a more biblical thing to be turned into salt, you know? But like half of my face is like that, and it's like crawling up my arm. So I know it's like, I don't have a lot of time. So I take a selfie, which out of context sounds really funny. It's like, man, I only have a little bit of time left. Let me take a selfie real quick of this biblical event happening. But I took the picture and I sent it to another friend. And I typed her a message. And because I knew I didn't have a lot of time, I was like, I have to make sure I speak like clearly and directly. And in the message, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along the lines of like, hey, looks like I'm not going to be able to talk to you for a while. Like, that's not an intentional thing. It's like, I didn't go that far, because I was like, I don't think I have time to say all that. It's like, looks like I'm not going to be able to talk to you for a while. Like, I hope you're all right. Love you. Bye. Like, it was something like that. Because in those final moments, or what I perceived to be my final moments, I thought to myself, there is a friend that I really care about. And this is someone that, I guess for lack of a better word, or maybe is the right word, I've been ministering to. This is someone that I've been, praying for. This is someone that I've been sharing a lot of faith-based content with, in addition to like other things. Like, that's not the entire basis of our friendship, but it's like, I know you are going through a really hard time. I don't want to say that, like, I know what you're going through, I understand what you're going through, because to be honest, I don't. We are different people, we have different experiences, but I want to do what I can to bring you some comfort, bring you some hope, to make your life a little easier. And she has let me know, it's like, like, thank you, I do appreciate that, because I genuinely, I feel like, if I'm sharing something like that with someone and they tell me, no, like, I don't want to see this does not help, I need to stop. And it's not just a sense of like, I don't want to, shove Jesus down their throat. Sorry, I thought of the actual take the Holy Spirit. I'm sorry, that's really funny. But it is just that, like, look, if you're trying to help someone through something, it's not gonna help if you just hit them over the head with a sledgehammer. Because if that's how it feels to them, they're not gonna want to accept it. I know that from my own life. But it was in that moment I was like, I'm not gonna be able to talk to her anymore. And I don't want the communication to just stop, because I don't want her to think that I gave up on her. So let me at least, like, I at least want her to know that's not the situation. I didn't give up on you. salt happens, I guess. Like, things happen. Hope you're okay. Then I woke up again, and I talked to my family about my dream or my vision. I was like, that was weird. Like, did I experience a plague? Like, I think it was like talking to them to try to suss out, like, was that real? Like, did that really happen? And I think the general vibe was, maybe it just wasn't a big deal. Maybe it's something that happened. It's not something you have to worry about. And as we're having that conversation, me just thinking, I don't know about that. This feels important in some way. Then my cat jumped onto my bed and started crying. And then I actually woke up. Because this was a dream within a dream within a dream. And it's just so weird that, like, all of that happened. But, I woke up for real. And I'm not someone that generally puts a lot of stock in my dreams. Like, okay, that was a bunch of weird things that happened, and maybe I can look and be like, oh, okay, this is the random stuff that happened in the day that influenced that. Like, for example, a couple hours before bed, I was talking to my friend about some of the Harry Potter casting for the new show, which, by the way, real quick, they've specifically said Voldemort has been casted, but they're not going to reveal who it is because they want to keep it a surprise. Now, part of that might just be, hey, we don't want people to know who it is, just so it's going to be more fun when you see the character and blah, 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 blah. Like, we don't want to show Voldemort in, like, his makeup or anything yet. You'll have to wait until it happens. Totally fine, totally fair. It's also possible, like, we don't want to tell people because it's a crazy name that's been cast. And maybe that's because it's a really notable actor. It's like Daniel Craig is about to be Voldemort. Like Tom Hiddleston is going to be Voldemort. My theory, I would be hyped if this happened, is that it's Daniel Radcliffe. Like, because as far as I have heard, he hasn't been confirmed to be in the show. Because I know, like, that of like a fan casting that people really, really want is Daniel Radcliffe as James Potter. And I think that would be really cool and really neat. Like, yeah, it's, what do you know? Like, Harry looks a lot like his dad and all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be really, really cool. But the idea of Daniel Radcliffe, the person who played the role of Harry Potter, playing the Nemesis, playing this person whose life has been connected to this boy, like, for so many years, is kind of really, really cool. And I just hope it happens. It's one of those where, like, I'm not gonna be mad or like, oh man, why did you guys do that if it doesn't happen? But I think it'd be really, really cool. Tangent over. My point being is, like, okay, so me having a Harry Potter magic school kind of based dream, it makes sense. I was talking about Harry Potter. I watched a video about Sky High, which is a school for superheroes, like a similar kind of thing. The turning into stone salt thing, though, I'm like, that felt like something. And I've talked about it a few times in my videos. I've talked about how, like, I believe in God. My faith is important to me. I don't often really go into details or anything. I guess I don't super plan to. Like, right now, I'm not going to go in, like, my testimony or anything. But it was something that really left an impact on me. And so I was like, well, there's a thing in the Bible where people will have dreams and interpret them. Like, you've got Joseph interpreting the dreams of, like, the two prisoners, then interpreting the dreams of Pharaoh. You have Daniel, like, interpreting the dreams of Nebuchadnezzar. It's like, what's what's there to interpret here? Is it that like, am I gonna die soon? Like, am I gonna turn into salt today? Like, I remember making a joke with like some of my friends yesterday. I was like, hey guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna come over, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna play Donkey Kong when I'm done with work. Unless I like get hit by a meteor or something. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna. But it didn't feel right. It didn't. And I think part of that is the fact that after that happened, I still woke up and continued the dream. It, to me, almost feels like that's not the point. It's not about like, hey, you don't have a lot of time left. Or maybe it's adjacent, but that's not quite it. So, I sat, I prayed, and I opened up a website called Bible Dice, which is just like, here's random scripture. And I really like that. It's like, okay, God, what do you got for me today? And I specifically prayed, I was like, I want a verse that gives me some discernment over the dream that I had. And this is what it was. It was 2 Peter 1, 5 through 10. And yes, I'm about to read this. Excuse me. Quote, "For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness mutual affection, and to mutual affection love. For if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. But whoever does not have them is nearsighted and blind, forgetting that they have been cleansed from their past sins. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, make every effort to confirm your calling and election. For if you do these things, you will never stumble." And I read that verse. I think actually, technically, I got like the King James version. This is the New International Version. I was trying to pull up the King James version, but the internet just said, I think you're good with this one. So it's the version I'm sharing. But it's, with a few slight changes. The other one sounds like a little more archaic. They say charity instead of love and such. But it's more or less the same thing. And I thought about that. And I thought about the dream I had. And I was like, no, that feels right. That makes a lot of sense. All of us have a calling in our life. Whether you want to call it purpose or not, or something else. But I do genuinely believe God has a plan for every single person. We also have free will. So it's up to us if we actually want to follow the plan or not. And maybe there's like, you'll follow it eventually. It's just kind of up to you how long it takes. I don't like the way I always understand it for me is God is a writer, and as the writer, he's like, I'm writing this person's story, and in my head, this is where the story starts, this is where the story ends. And I have an idea for the middle. But there's a lot of branching paths. And as a human being with free will, we can kind of take whatever path we want. Because as someone who writes, I know it's like, this is my idea for the story. This is my idea for the character. The character doesn't always do what I think they're going to do. It doesn't always do what I want them to do. Because when you're in that zone and when you're writing, sometimes it really takes a life of its own. And that's kind of how that makes sense to me. And God's like, this is my plan for you. This is what we're going to do. What do you mean you went in the complete opposite direction? Like, I get it. That is something you would do and it makes sense. But come on, it was right there. And I feel like, yeah, we all have that calling. And there can be other things in our life. There can be other things in our life that we do and that we enjoy. Like shows that we watch about a person, about like a girl going to a school and then having way too much like having like way too much authority and pressure put on her and saying, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to do my best, because that sounds like a really fun premise. But in addition to that, there's also important things that we have to do. That either we know we have to do or he wants us to do. It's a little bit of both. And yes, you don't always know how much time you have. You might think, you might not realize, I don't know why it's hard to talk. Sometimes I'm just like that. You might think you're totally fine, and then 2 minutes later, your body is turning into salt. Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's like, I got so much time, everything is okay. Oh, I thought I had years. I actually have seconds, and I just didn't know. Maybe I should have, like, as much as I enjoy some of the other stuff, and I think a lot of the other stuff is still fine, like, unless it's, like, directly sinful, you know? But it's like, it's okay. My calling is still important, and I need to have patience, diligence, self-control, affection for other people, love, etc., etc. Because that is how I will live a better life, a more fulfilled life, and it's how I can live out my calling, whatever that is, whatever your calling is. Mine, personally, I genuinely believe mine is helping other people and serving other people, looking after my friends, looking after my family, even like strangers. I don't remember if I actually told this story or not, but when I was in California for my trip, I think it was near the end of my trip, I went out to, what is it called? It's like Bob's Big Boy or Bob's Big Burger. It's something like that. I think it was in Burbank. And like, you know, it's something my dad like kind of jokes about, because I think he saw it on like Guys Drive, what's it, Triple D, Diners, Guys, Drivers, Dine-Ins, and Dives. That's it. I think that's it. And I think he saw it on there, or like he saw it on Jay Leno or something like that. But he's like, hey, like, make sure you go to Bob's Big Boy. It's like, I went, and I'm like, it was fine. It was okay. But I ended up sitting next to this woman, and she was very clearly not okay. And I had that sense that just like, you need to talk to this person. Like, I don't want to. Like, look, I've got a lot of stuff I'm going through right now. I don't want to interact with humans. I also just don't want to even if I was doing okay, I don't know if I want to interact with a stranger. But I did anyways. Like, I kind of said hello. I don't remember exactly what I said, but, you know, like, I said hello, just kind of asked how she was doing, because she very clearly wasn't okay. And, you know, we sat, we talked about how she was doing and she was not doing well, and just how close to the end she was. And I don't remember if I prayed for her like right then and there. I know I like did, at least on my own. But like, we talked for a bit, and I tried to give her, and I was like, look, like you have a lot more life experience than I do, but, you know, like, maybe we could try to look at this from the other person's perspective. You know, maybe there's, you know, some things we can do, but like, it is not too late to give up on this. Like, I don't want you to. And like, I got her contact information, and we've emailed each other back and forth a couple times. She actually reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and she's doing a lot better. Like, she's like, yeah, like, not everything is great, but that particular issue, that is doing much better. Like, thank you so much for reaching out to me and for talking to me. And, you know, like, probably the original sin and all that, but it's like, it's something I feel really proud of. Not just the fact that, you know, part of it is, yeah, like, I reached out to someone, I possibly saved somebody's life. Part of it is also God told me to do something and I did it. Even if it felt weird, a little uncomfortable. I don't know if I wanted to do it. I still did it. And when you feel that like tugging on your soul, you know it's him. And you know it's something you gotta do. And that was how I felt when I had that dream this morning. This is a tug on your soul. You have a calling. And, in your life, like you do, act on that calling. And it felt like less of a, like, hey, why aren't you doing what you're supposed to? And more of a, just, like, make sure you stick with it. Like, yeah, there's other stuff and you can enjoy other things. But it's not like your time is imminent. But you maybe don't have as much as you think you do. And you need to make sure the time you have, you spend it the right way. Because you know what's important. So whatever calling you have on your life, that tugging in your soul, to reference the film Soul, your spark. And as much as I used to think that like my spark was writing, and it still is, like it's still something that I love, that feels important to me, like I have to do this. My spark also is like that love I have for other people and wanting to make other people happy, wanting to make sure they're okay. Whatever your spark is, make sure you nurture it. Like, make sure you keep that flame lit. You keep it going. And you don't ignore it. Because you don't know how much time you have left. You might turn into a pillar of salt and think, man, I wish I spent a little bit more on this particular project or endeavor or with this particular person. So, I think that's it. I'll see ya.